It's going. Hey guys, I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report, and I am streaming on Facebook, Mixer, Periscope, DLive. YouTube should be connecting shortly. Yep. And hopefully Twitch. And of course, the TalkStream Live. It is Thursday, July 16th, 2020. Very cool. It's 9:02 a.m. here in Los Angeles. You know, we have to switch the board operator, the engineer, has to switch from Jesse Lee Peterson's stream to the Hake Report stream. So it takes a couple of minutes. It's not like I'm late. We just have to do it. Anyways, that's for the people who are always in my live chat saying, Hake is late. He's turning black. Already kind of black on the inside. In fact, I don't know. Maybe I'm, well, I wouldn't want to go out on a limb and say I'm getting better. Brandon M says, fat host. I don't know if that's referring to me or saying, congratulating and thanking Asmodor and Dark Side of the Bear What for hosting my show. And soon to be Jesse Lee Peterson will be doing that too. He does that usually, but it just takes him a minute. So, I'm going to be getting to your calls. 888-775-3773. Appreciate them. I look forward to it. But first, let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, isn't that beautiful, that Confederate battle flag or whatever it is? I love it. Drudge reported that the sons of Confederate veterans flew the Confederate flag over the NASCAR race yet again. We just saw pictures in the opening slideshow shared by Joel of pictures of this airplane flying the beautiful flag, Confederate flag, which is a beautiful flag, over the NASCAR race over in, I forget where, but just like what they did last month in over Talladega, which is in, I forget where. And only this one is a little bit different. It has the Confederate battle flag, and then it says, or whatever it's called, and scv.org, Sons of Confederate Veterans.org. I tried to buy stuff from them, but they gave me my money back. I don't know if they're just not selling it or what. Through PayPal, I, bought something. Maybe PayPal's defunding them or something. But this is last month's flag that says defund NASCAR, because NASCAR banned the flying of the Confederate flag on their property and at their events, on any of their properties, right? NASCAR, which is it's basically like the NBA or the NFL of racing, car racing. Psh, shameful, disgusting, politically correct, and yet they let this guy, this sleazy guy, oh, he's not, I hate to call him sleazy, but maybe he really is. He's definitely supporting sleazy causes. This Bubba Wallace guy seems like a nice guy, I guess, but deluded, radicalized. I won't say he's as bad as Colin Kaepernick off the deep end as him, but maybe he is. I don't know. But this Bubba Wallace guy who's supposedly black, pretty light-skinned, but he's black, I guess. He has some black in him. And wearing this I Can't Breathe t-shirt. He has a car that says hashtag Black Lives Matter, which is a hate hashtag. It's a hate symbol. Trump knows that. The president knows that. It's disgusting. Rectangular is the naval flag. Square is the battle flag, says Asmodor, referring to the Confederate flag. So I have the square one superimposed on my face on my social media, like Facebook and Twitter, my personal. Because, it's kind of like, those people who put the rainbow flag over themselves or the French flag. Je suis Charlie Hebdo. after somebody, supposedly the homosexuals are victimized, and so they put the rainbow to be proud of homosexuality, the rainbow flag, which is a homosexual radical pride flag, or the French flag to support the people who were victimized in a terror attack a few years ago. It was a common thing to do, right? So I put the Confederate battle flag, the square one, over my face on my social media. I don't think I have a picture of it, but you can follow me on Facebook or on Twitter at James Anton Hake and see it. Also on my Instagram too. Yeah, I was like, support what's right. So there's a rectangular Confederate flag, which is more common, and is it the Tennessee naval flag or whatever from the Confederate times? Thank you, Asmodor, for the info. Brandon M. gave a diamond, by the way, and says, exercise that beta back or it will be about you. LOL. Yeah, you know what? I have been walking, guys. 2 days in a row, I've gone for an hour walk each. Isn't that nice? Isn't that impressive, huh? And I felt great after that. So it does help to walk. I heard from Patrick Rooney, the guy from Old School USA. He's come on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Joel says, "I'll praise you when you do it for 6 months straight." Joel, how hard on. He wants whites to become gym rats, which is a good wish, right? I'm kind of pretending like I can read his mind, but yeah, I should be doing that stuff. Like, I should be exercising every day, right? Come on, guys. Have to strengthen those feeble arms and weak knees. That's what the Bible says. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. I think they're also talking spiritually, too. Everything. I really want to talk about this Nick Cannon thing, which is hilarious to me. It's not, I mean, it's hilarious, but it's super interesting, and it's insane. With the insanity, there's a temptation to be mad at the complete non-acknowledgement of the hatred towards white people in the mainstream media. It's so ridiculous, and it's so accepted and promoted, and it's insane. But everybody else is not okay to hate them. But in reality, it is okay to hate them because it is hatred when they're kissing up and apologizing for stuff that isn't real or just, not dealing with the whole situation. It's so typical of the world to attack the men, but give special treatment to the women, for example. Or attack the blacks, but give special treatment. No, attack the whites, but give special treatment to the blacks. And, we all know this. But it is kind of insane. And I do also want, what's really funny to me is the Twitter hack. And I don't know if I should be joyful about it, but it's kind of funny to me. I don't know, maybe it seems like maybe the hackers were no worse than the Twitter people themselves, except that Twitter wants things to be at least orderly, and the hackers are completely disorderly. So I guess they are, I guess you could say they're both evil. I'm going to get to the calls. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight. Nick, is Richard talking about me? Okay, cool. Okay. Named who? Oh. Okay. All right. Anyways, hang tight, callers. I will be getting to you. I want to cover this Nick Cannon thing. I'm so excited about it. I told you guys about it if you were listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show during Hake News towards the end of hour 2 today about, can you play the clip that I put in the extra folder or the other folder yesterday? Nick Cannon went on his podcast that he runs, right? And this appeared on YouTube. I believe it was taken down for hate speech by YouTube, censored completely. You can't even watch the video, right? I don't know if it exists anywhere else. Nick Cannon is a comedian. I guess he's a rapper, TV and radio host. Wild 'N Out is a big TV show / brand that he's built maybe over the course of 20 years, maybe less. But the younger ex-husband to Mariah Carey, who's a singer, and they have children. I think they have 3 children. I could be wrong. I think he has 3 children, and they co-parent their exes, though. He's, like I said, he dressed in whiteface years back. Looked ridiculous. Whiteface is when he pretended, he dressed up as though he's white. And I don't know if it was for Halloween or what, but he's basically a typical black person in the entertainment world, which is to say he's anti-white and thinks that he's pro-black, but in reality he's promoting the destruction of blacks by being all into it, right? Being all into the blackness and hating whites. So he's 39 years old. Here's a clip from his YouTube show that was making the rounds, at least on Twitter. And it doesn't include the part that was supposedly anti-Semitic, although I guess this applies to the light-skinned Jews too, I guess. But listen to this and watch.
Let's go to what it really is then. When we talk about the power of melanated people, when we talk about who we really are as guys and understanding that our melanin is so powerful and it connects us in a way that the reason why they fear black, the reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it. So then when you see what, Dr. Francis C. Welsing talked about is that fear in that
just genetic annihilation,
that deficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul. That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, they're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality.
Anyways, interesting, huh? Doesn't he look like he's trying to look like Denzel Washington? Malcolm X in the movie Malcolm X.
I don't even know. I just know he looks like he's trying to be smart.
Right, with his hood over his head and the beanie on his head. Oh man, and I think he's wearing a Howard University. By the way, I'm wearing my Hake t-shirt, the Hake Report t-shirt, and Joel's wearing his He Black t-shirt, which I believe is still available on his Teespring.
Yeah, on Teespring you can get the He Black shirt. And it's definitely going to be available now, especially all the stuff going on. It's probably at the top.
People can't just, it's probably hard to just search because the search function on Teespring is a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So do you go to thegiftedofdance.com and is it linkable through there or joelfriday.tv.com?
Well, you go to teespring.com/store/thegifted store. No, stores with the S.
Yeah.
/ the gifted store, and then you'll see He Black shirt. You can get it in different colors, or you can get the Gifted of Dance shirt with the Gifted of Dance logo in different colors as well.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for the plug.
Yeah. Teespring.com/stores/the gifted shop.
The Gifted Store.
The gifted store. Man, I still got it wrong after all that. Okay, guys, nice. So, this guy, and he referenced Louis Farrakhan, called him Minister Farrakhan, and he was talking to this guy named Professor Griff, who I don't think that he's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, at least not lately, but I think they were in talks with him, at least for the Fallen State or something. But that's Richard Griffin, Professor Griff, from the group Public Enemy that was big in the 80s, 90s, right? Or something. I have one album by them. But he was talking about non-melanated, and melanated means it's the protein or amino acid or something like that, right, Nick? He's the scientist. That turns your skin black, right? Or dark. And so white people don't have the melanin. And neither do the albinos, right? Amino acid, which is the building block of a protein. Splitting hairs. So he said the non-melanated people have less compassion. They are less in his mind. It's so funny that people can come up with anything and say anything about anybody, and have it somewhat make a little bit of sense, I guess, in their minds, at least. Talking about we're more animal-like. And I said oppressive, but it's more... But he admits that the whites, or he says that the light-skinned people are fighting for their survival, I guess, as a race or something like that. But it's funny because whites, for the most part, don't even really identify with their race. At least not knowingly, right? Meanwhile, the blacks are the most identified with their race. And like Joel says, blacks don't rob, kill, steal, and loot. And act like animals, act like savages. They do. I mean, many of them do, right? And then, okay, so I don't know if this part was included in the hateful thing. Hopefully it doesn't get me banned on YouTube, or this video blocked on YouTube. But he also said the Semitic people are black people. And that's a reference to, somehow they started talking about Jews. And Jewish people, normally you think of Jewish people, you're thinking of the Ashkenazi Jews, who are lighter skinned. Maybe a little bit olive skin, I guess. But they commonly, sometimes when it's convenient, they'll say, oh, white like me. Like Tim Wise, right? I think he's part white. But anyways, he was promptly fired by ViacomCBS, which is the parent company of Nickelodeon, on which he served on a board for Nick Teen Division, Nickelodeon, and MTV, which MTV and VH1 traded off running his Wild and Out comedy show thing, saying that he failed to acknowledge or apologize for perpetuating anti-Semitism, and that he promoted hateful speech and spread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. And then after that, he demanded that ViacomCBS, it's all one word, oddly, gave him full ownership of he wanted full ownership of his Wild and Out show from Viacom. And he said that they're on the wrong side of history. He wrote this long Facebook post, claiming that he reached out to the female chairman, I think, Shari Redstone of ViacomCBS, to have a conversation of reconciliation and actually apologize. She said that's not true, according to her spokesman. Yesterday evening, he tweeted out this multi-tweet thread. You heard what he said about basically non-blacks, right? Or people with non-dark people, which he seems kind of light-skinned himself, honestly. Is he lighter than you, Joel? Or is he about the same? I don't know. But
I think I'm a little more light-skinned.
Okay. But, and a little less, you're a little less then. Anyways, a little more looter-ish. Anyways, he said, first and foremost, this is Nick Cannon's tweets. I may have screenshots. I don't think that I gave them to you, though. Let me see if I do have screenshots, tweets. Of his? Oh, no. It's like multiple ones. I think I have this. Let me put it into the folder. That way you guys can kind of read along. He says, first, I'll be reading this as I give this to Joel. It's a screenshot just in the general folder of Thursday's thing. He says, first and foremost, I extend my deepest and most sincere apologies. So fake from the start, right? To my Jewish sisters and brothers for the hurtful and divisive words that came out of my mouth during my interview with Richard Griffin. That's Professor Griff. They reinforced the worst stereotypes of a proud and magnificent people, and I feel ashamed of the uninformed and naive place that these words came from. The video of this interview has since been removed by YouTube, I'm pretty sure, right? While the Jewish experience encompasses more than 5,000 years, and there is so much that I have yet to learn, I have at least a minor history lesson over the past few days, and to say that it is eye-opening would be a vast understatement. By the way, this came out in June 30th, I think was his podcast with Griffin. So this is 15 days later, right? I want to express my gratitude to the rabbis, community leaders, and institutions who reached out to me to help enlighten me instead of chastising me. I want to assure my Jewish friends, new and old, that this is only the beginning of my education. I am committed to deeper connections, more profound learning, and strengthening the bond between our two cultures today and every day going forward. So phony, right? And people say that that's not Nick tweeting, but his PR people, you know, trying to salvage his, I guess, reputation or whatever, or image or career or whatever. That was pretty shocking that that this was, well, I don't know. He's on such a big platform that they can't allow that, because this is kind of, amongst normal people, it's common to hear that blacks think that they're the real Jewish people, right? But I guess he's the biggest so-called platformed person, meaning he's in the mainstream entertainment world, right? So Dwayne Wade was running his mouth. Well, he didn't. He tweeted and then deleted this statement. Nick Cannon, we are with you. Keep leading. Hashtag, Black Power Fist emoji. But he claims an hour after he tweeted this, he deleted it and tweeted that he was not supporting or condoning what Nick Cannon specifically said, but he was expressing his support of him for owning the content and brand Wild 'N Out that he helped create. Beta! Okay, Dwayne Wade. And that may be true, I don't know, but whatever. And then he tweeted an hour later after that, Dwayne Wade, who's an NBA star, right? I gave you a little bit of background on him during Hake News. He said, I was too quick to respond without being fully informed about his hurtful anti-Semitic remarks. As you all know, I have zero tolerance for any hate speech. Joel says, this is so weak. And that is. And it's so funny. No acknowledgement of the hatred of white people. Hatred of white people is not hate speech, by the way, guys. Just so you know. It's not hate speech, because hate speech is a communist term used against whites and men and Christians. You can, you can pay lip service to, oh yeah, Farrakhan's a hate speech person too, but they're not. They can't do anything to Farrakhan, because I guess he owns all of his stuff, or he and the Nation of Islam, like, they're on their own channels, and they get banned from. Did they get banned completely from Twitter and YouTube yet? I think they did. He's kind of like I don't know. He's Alex Jones in that way, in that he's built his own platform. Whatever. So Charlamagne the God, Dwayne Wade. He's the one with the son, the 12 or 13-year-old son, named Zion, I think. And now he's going by Maya, calling him a girl, a 12 or 13-year-old young man, I would guess you would. Boy. Going to pride parades, homosexual pride, right? With Gabrielle Union, who's 9 years older than Dwayne Wade. Nick Cannon, too, married a woman who's 10 or 11 years older than him, Mariah Carey. By the way, we don't know how old Mariah Carey is. I think we know March 27th, but we don't know if it was in 69 or 70. I just found that out. Weird. But Mariah Carey's nice voice, though. A couple of nice songs, right? He was... Anyways, Charlamagne the God. Let me get to Charlamagne the God. He says that Nick Cannon's firing proves that Jews have the power. And here is more... Charlamagne the God is a black New York radio co-host of The Breakfast Club who called Hillary out for pandering to the blacks with her love of hot sauce, keeping it in her bag everywhere she goes. And he interviewed Joe Biden when Joe Biden said, "You ain't black," if you're confused on who to vote for, Trump or me. And he was interviewed by Rush Limbaugh, who was too nice to him, I think. I didn't hear that interview, but Rush Limbaugh interviewed Charlamagne the God. So, dang, giving him real legitimacy, right? Breitbart reports that Charlamagne the God, real name Leonard Larry McKelvey, supported Cannon's criticism of white people, saying that white people have a history of mass racial violence in this country. And you heard the clip of that on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I think that was in the third hour. However, he said that Cannon should have been careful to discuss his views about Jews with a Jewish scholar who might have been able to correct any mistakes on the spot. He also argued that each group is able to decide for itself what speech is offensive. Each group, that is, except whites. If you're whites, you're whiners and complainers, right? But whatever. We shouldn't fight like them. I think that we should fight wiser if we're going to be Christians. Charlamagne also added that Cannon's firing proved that Jews do, in fact, have the power. That's what you can do when you have the power. Listen, Nick is my guy, and you heard this on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I hate it had to be him, but that's what you can do when you have the power. If that's one thing Jewish people have showed us, it's that they have the power. He said, I can't wait until the day that black people are able to fire people for saying things about us that we deem racist. We can barely get cops fired for actually killing us. What an evil person. And they do get people fired with the help of all the fellow children of the lie, right? And that's pure evil vindictiveness, honestly. Really? Co-host Angela Yee of The Breakfast Club, the female who's with The Breakfast Club, she said, there seems to be a double standard because Mel Gibson kept his job, right? Continued to work in Hollywood despite a so-called record of anti-Semitic comments. Because Mel Gibson, in a drunken thing, went off about Jews, right? Mel Gibson is Catholic. And he talked about the Jews killed Jesus, something like that. And no, that's not true. He was gone for a while, and Charlamagne said that he got his A whipped, though, too, which is true. He added that Cannon also had other jobs. It's so ridiculous. So that's that side, the people who support Nick Cannon. Here's the people who don't support Nick Cannon, but they're also evil people. Well, here's one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's an older NBA star. And he is like, I want to say he's in his 70s. And I've been aware of his radicalness. Well, I knew that he was radical because he changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What was his name before that? It was some like nice American name. But he changed his name to be like a Muslim slave owner, right? What was that guy's name before? He wrote in Hollywood Reporter. He's been known for writing dumb stuff in like Time magazine, supporting Black Lives Matter, supporting lies of, this fake black victimhood. But he wrote in the Hollywood Reporter an op-ed, where's the outrage over anti-Semitism in sports and Hollywood? Honestly, he means amongst blacks in sports and Hollywood. But he's never for what's right. He's really dumb. Like, I don't get why people prop him up. But anyways, here's a quote from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's Lew Alcindor. Lew, L-E-W, I guess kind of like Louis Alcindor. I guess that's his name. Thank you, guys. So this is a quote from, I think I have a screenshot of his article headline. in the article, they include a picture at the top of Ice Cube, who's a rapper / actor who's been in the mainstream for some time. Hates another radical who hates whites and I guess Jews. But Kareem says Ice Cube's June 10th day-long series of tweets, June 10th, like last month, which involved some creepy symbols and images, in general implied that Jews were responsible for the oppression of blacks. NFL player Deshaun Jackson tweeted out several anti-Semitic messages. More quotes from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Former NBA player Steven Jackson talked about the Rothschilds owning all the banks and his support for the notorious homophobe and anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan. That's not the problem with Louis Farrakhan. The problem with Farrakhan is that he's full of hatred and anger, and it's apparent. And he's misleading the blacks to be angry. Anyways, that is the kind of dehumanizing characterization of a people that causes police abuses that killed his friend George Floyd, referring to Steven Jackson, I guess. Yeah, because Steven Jackson was friends with George Floyd before George Floyd died. But that's not what happened with George Floyd. It wasn't dehumanization. He's just making this up about the cop who still has not even had a fair trial. And he's not going to get a fair trial because look at all the dishonest, irresponsible lynch mob mentality that call his death horrific, George Floyd's death horrific and all this stuff and say it was terrible and it was definitely the cop's knee on the neck that killed him and stuff like that. When, first of all, we don't know. Second of all, they trained to put the knee on the neck. And there's been other cases where cops have put the knees elsewhere. Cops have put their knee on the neck of people. And I think they're trained, I heard on Asmodor's show that they're trained by the Israeli Defense Force, right? The IDF, something like that. And other departments don't train to have the knee on the neck because, it looks sketchy for sure. And it might be dangerous. Anyways, Kareem talked about Chelsea Handler sharing Farrakhan videos. Chelsea Handler, he pointed out, is a Jewish female comedian, light-skinned, white woman looking like. And he gives credence to accusations against the president, Donald Trump. Disgusting, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Accusing President Trump of anti-Semitic tropes or whatever, right? And he quotes the far-left, corpulent, black, I think she's LGBTQIA+, radical feminist Roxane Gay, who I guess attacked Ice Cube, right? Who's refused to come on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, by the way, Roxane Gay. She's the author of Bad Feminist. Might invite her again, but I haven't. I think I got a no from her, or I got no response. She's as if she's any better than Ice Cube. But I think she writes for New York Times now, right? I could be wrong. But she's worse than Ice Cube because she's propped up as a legitimate writer / thinker. And then Kareem quotes Billie Holiday's song about lynching and MLK about injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Please note, he makes no mention of the open and in some cases disguised hatred toward normal white Americans, Christian Americans, whites, cops, Trump, men, America. Ridiculous. Oh, I have the tweet from the black radical rapper Ice Cube. So he tweeted in response to Kareem's article, which I tagged him. Ice Cube, the rapper, tweeted, "Shame on the Hollywood reporter who obviously gave my brother Kareem 30 pieces of silver to cut us down without even a phone call." And he's quote tweeting Jake Tapper, who shared Kareem's article, "Where's the outrage over anti-Semitism in sports in Hollywood," right? That is such a funny, brazen, people would definitely construe it as so-called anti-Semitic tweet because the 30 pieces of silver reference is what the Jewish leadership paid Judas Iscariot in order to betray Jesus and hand Jesus over to them so that they can hand him over to the Romans to crucify Jesus. So he's basically comparing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Judas Iscariot and the Hollywood Reporter of being the Jews that paid Kareem to betray, I guess, Black Jesus is Ice Cube in this one. And Ice Cube and whoever else hates Jews amongst the black community. Funny, huh? I don't think Kareem's article, I don't know when it came out. I forget when it came out. But I don't think it specifically mentions Nick Cannon, interestingly enough. But ridiculous. Evgeny Crosby says, Ice Cube, 52 years old, still playing a gangster. LOL. Yeah. Such a shame. Nick Cannon is so eloquent, rolling her eyes, says, hot computer smell with a diamond. Yeah. J. Russ 89 said, the Jews killed Jesus, children of Satan. You know, everybody basically does, right? When they, I don't know, there's a passage in the Bible that when you deny the Spirit, you're basically putting Jesus up on the cross again. Isn't that a nice warning? It is spiritual. Brandon M. says, exercise. Oh, yeah, I got that one already. Cactus Kurt says, that's right. Thank you to Master Joni Maverick for subscribing. Appreciate that. And to Beard the Butcher for gifting a subscription to Strulicht. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Hey, thank you guys for the Streamlabs support. More super chats on Streamlabs because I'm not able to accept super chats on my YouTube channel at this time because of hate speech or whatever. They think it's incendiary or something like that. Which maybe, maybe I'll go through and delete the videos that I think or change the titles or whatever. Because some of the titles are pretty, they're just too plain spoken for YouTube. Like when I did a podcast show last week called about blacks who have set whites on fire over the years. I'm not trying to be incendiary, but it's just, I cherry-picked this data. The cherries are good, and the pickings are not too slim. They're not that slim. And so I just put together a bunch of stories, and I titled the episode Blacks Setting Whites on Fire. And I guess that could be a shocking title, right? Incendiary. Anyways, King Alpha Nerd gave super chats on Streamlabs and said, I really have idea what Nick Cannon, I think he means I really have no idea what Nick Cannon has against melons. I love melons. Watermelon, melon. Stop hating melons, boy. And King Alpha Nerd also says, man, hate got demonetized. I got to go through Streamlabs now. Welcome to the club of speaking the truth, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, I got to get to some calls. You guys have been on hold, patiently waiting for a long time. Richard out of North Carolina wants to call out some fake conservative that I have no idea about, but we'll see what happens. Richard, how you doing?
Well, first of all, I didn't understand what Nick means by, why is everyone saying anti-Semitic? Isn't it anti-white?
It is anti-white, but I guess lumped in there, he also said the real Semites are blacks. That's a specific statement that he said, and he also said that people with non-melanated skin, which, a lot of Jewish people are light-skinned, so maybe he's talking about them too. I don't know. It's weird. Isn't that a strange thing? But that's the mainstream world for you. It is evil. Hey, you have a lot of background noise, Richard. Where are you? You at the train station?
No. I'm coming up to my door right now. That was an airplane flying over.
Wow.
Sorry. Anyhow, no, I just was, you know how much you were talking about Woody Allen and Me Too?
Oh, yeah.
That one time?
Right.
Well, I have a girl that I knew. I'm not going to say her real name. I'll give her her Instagram. It's Redneck Barbie. And anyhow, she supposed to be a conservative, but I think she's a RINO because the way she defended this one woman who has never said she called the cops. This person supposedly sexually harassed her and everything like that, and the woman goes on her Instagram and starts accusing this guy of everything, and I'm just going like, but she never mentioned she called the police if he was supposed to be a sex offender. You know,
I have no idea what you're talking about, Richard. I'm sorry, I can't. I have no follow-up.
Well, what basically happened is I called out Redneck Barbie on the fact that it reminded me of Me Too.
I don't know who that is either, man. I'm sorry.
If you find her on,
send me the tip, Richard, and maybe send me the tip because I really don't know, and I'm going blank.
Well, the whole fact is if she was conservative, you would think she would side with me. You know that?
No,
and say,
not necessarily, man.
Unless he actually
I'll tell you one
had
thing.
a police report and an investigation.
I don't really not interested because I don't have no idea what you're talking about. But I will say that most conservatives, people who claim to be conservatives, they're not going to always be right. They're a lot of them, especially if they're popular, they're kind of standard thinking people. They're not real. So especially like female conservatives, people get all excited about a female conservative, either because they're pretty or because they're female and conservative, right?
Correct.
Or POC
Correct. And this woman is
conservatives.
This woman is non-traditional because she's got tattoos all over.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm wondering if she's faking the conservative thing to make money.
I don't really want to pay that anything because I have no idea who that is. But thanks, Richard. Appreciate hearing from you.
Sure.
Take care, man. Yeah, I'm not trying to smear people that I don't even know. Right? And probably, I don't know, maybe he's right, but guys, be sane, I guess. Like, what do you care about? What do you care about some woman? Some dumb woman. Right? Anyways. Let me get to Mark out of Georgia. But I appreciate you, Richard.
Man?
Anyways, yeah, Mark, what's up?
What's happening with you, man? Happy White History Month, bro.
Thank you. Happy White History Month to you as well.
Yeah, man. I just want to call to you, live on the air and let all them hating listeners know that they need to stop hating on James Hake, man, because next to Jesse and AJ, I don't want to plug nobody, you the best on the air right now, man.
I appreciate that.
You keep it real, and they always saying to you, James, why you following behind Jesse? No. James don't follow behind Jesse. Yeah, you might have picked up a little bit of wisdom, from God through Jesse and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I see you sticking to your character 100% of the time, and I really appreciate that, man.
Well, thank you, dude. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I just want to go ahead and comment real quick on that Nick Cannon, if I can.
Yes.
You know what, man? I'm just so sick and tired of seeing that. I mean, y'all been talking about it, about how the hypocrisy in it. Oh, we got so much compassion, yet we're the most violent race on the entire planet that ever exists in history. You know what I'm saying? And I've called into Jesse, a couple months ago. I'm the one, whoever do the producing put my murderer mother. You know what I'm saying? I'm that one. You know what I'm saying?
So you wait. You talked to Jesse before, and then we put out a video clip of your phone call, and you were talking about your mother.
Yeah, and they call it a murderer and all that.
Wow.
And it's funny because of what you were just saying about the titles and stuff like that. When I seen it, I was like, Lord, now I can't show my mom.
I know. Good point.
I was like, oh Lord. Yeah, but anyway, man. I come from an environment, my father was black, with another black man in what we'll call cold blood. So
you know what? You broke up just now. Repeat what you just said.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What I was saying is I'm the spawn of a murderer, a black man who killed another black man in cold blood. I see the lack of compassion in the community. I thank God every day for finding this show so that I will be able to be led in the right direction, James. And I can tell you, in the black community, right, I'm light-skinned as can be. I'm lighter than Joel. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I done been around enough people and seen enough things out there, you know what I'm saying? And I know that there is no compassion. It's nothing but hatred. We don't want to do nothing but trouble. If we see something going good, we want to turn that on its head and make it bad, man. We hate. That's it. Don't be fooled. Don't stop what you're doing. And they say y'all need to say it a different way, a nicer way. Nah, man, that's that. I'm going to let you know. Black people, we don't want to hear nothing nice. We need something shocking to make us even pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, James, I ain't going to hold you up, brother. Keep doing your thing. Keep moving. Earl, stop trying to run everybody's show. Maze, you know you playing Maze when you be calling. And T, you need to drink some water because you mad for no reason. Anyway, man, have a good one, man.
All right.
God bless you, James.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Mark in Georgia. Nice guy, seemingly. I don't really totally remember that phone call on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, but he made the point, and it reminds me, I caught wind of Ice Cube's tweet about the 30 pieces of silver and attacking Kareem for attacking him. And meanwhile, Kareem is a hater. Ice Cube is a hater. Farrakhan is a hater. Nick Cannon, all these people, they're full of hate. And the people crying anti-Semitism, they're every bit as hateful. Asmodor made the point. ViacomCBS, he gave this Ninja Guinea and said this. Viacom did not care that he called whites animals, referring to Nick Cannon, calling whites animals, meaning non-melanated people, right? They fired him for anti-Semitism. Who has the power? And evil spreads, hatred spreads. The blacks and the Jews who are both those of them who are in this victim mindset want to pretend like they can commiserate together and join forces against so-called white supremacy or whatever, against whites, against America, against what's right. They are not going to get along. It's just like this black and brown thing. They do not like each other. They hate each other. And they will, work together and, pretend to get along in order to fight against what's right, because fight on behalf of evil, because they are led by evil. They're a victim mentality, and they are full of hatred. And hatred spreads. What happens when you get mad? Somebody makes you mad. What's your impulse? To make them mad back. The classic safe anger of road rage. Somebody cuts you off, whether on purpose or by accident. You try to go and cut them off, or look at them, or, evil eye, or flip them off, or whatever. That's what anger wants to do, is make the other person as angry and miserable as you are. And it doesn't stop. And it doesn't stop just at whites or just at men. The women don't like each other or love each other, who hate men. And the men who, it's crazy. That's why I really like Jesse Lee Peterson's message. And if, all these mainstream social media establishment companies had any sense, they would be promoting Jesse instead of this fake. Twitter has Black Lives Matter hashtag and Black Trans Lives Matter hashtag in their bio. And their, little Twitter bird thing, their logo is all black on their profile picture, and it has this rainbow around it. It's so ridiculous. And it's all a pretense of false imitation of love. But it's hatred. It's that soft hatred, right? Feeling so sorry. Oh, man. And so he's right when he talks about blacks don't have love. It's all hatred. They see something good, they destroy it. And that's the female thinking, right? Of meddling and criticizing and nitpicking the man who's doing what looks like it might not be nice or tough love. It's just like the atheists who criticize God as unjust or unloving because he allows the evil in the world, right? They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know anything about justice or love. They're such phony people, especially like the evil type of liberal atheists. The nice ones who love Christians, or at least, they respect Christians, they're a little bit closer maybe to reality. the Stefan Molyneux, who got banned off of YouTube, right? And Twitter. Crazy. Yeah, and then they made the point. I'm gonna get to this Twitter thing in the next hour, and then I will get to your calls, guys. Hang tight. But I'm gonna get to this Twitter thing. I follow Mike Cernovich, who's like a pretty good journalist guy on Twitter, and he made the point. He found all these recent tweets of Twitter engineers talking about we're correcting the language of our back end, right? Back end is not the word that they use, but their engineering terms, such as blacklist and whitelist. They're getting rid of blacklist and whitelist to deny list for blacklist and allow list for whitelist because it's could be demeaning. They want it to be more inclusive. So phony. By the way, thank you to Brandon Johnson. He says, support James on Patreon, patreon.com/The Hake Report. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And shout out to all the people on Patreon who are supporting me on a monthly basis. Maybe I'll get on to Subscribestar. Maybe I'll get on to Rockfin. Other people are on Rockfin. Some of you guys have negative views of Cernovich. I don't know. I like the guy. I'm more radical than him, definitely. I'm more in, but anyways, radical in the sense that whatever. Anyways, let me quickly get to James in Florida. He's been on hold for some time before I wrap up this hour. James, how are you doing? James, you there?
Hey, sorry about that. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good. I wanted to call about a couple things because Maze was specifically trying to call me out on your show last week.
Okay.
But before I get to that, I wanted to just say this Nick Cannon guy, what a beta male. And yeah, I don't. Do people really believe this stuff, like this Black Israelite stuff?
Yeah, I think they do. People will believe stuff. It's surprising the stuff that people believe. Look at this Black Lives Matter thing about black victimhood at the hands of police and whites. That is a ridiculous thing to believe in, but the mainstream media even promotes it because, they cherry pick, there's that term again, the anecdotal things, and then they cherry pick one stat referring to how blacks are disproportionately dying at the hands of police, not naming the fact that blacks are also disproportionately criminal and attacking police and being violent and all that stuff. So yeah, people do believe this. Oh, we are the true, especially when you're angry and you don't have a foundation on what's right. You can easily believe that your race is the image of God or whatever.
Right. So it's like kind of like a black supremacy thing. I've watched on the Fallen State a couple interviews with the Black Israelites, and I think it's easier to lie about kind of what you were just talking about with the victimhood. But the Black Israelite thing is, I mean, if you read books about history and especially ancient history, what they're saying is stupid and doesn't make sense. But I think it's pathetic that I saw people defending this guy. And I was thinking on Twitter, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, if you took all of what he said and you put a white guy saying, just flip it.
You're right.
I mean, you'd be done. You'd be done. This group is so, I mean, the mask is kind of coming off. They're so hateful and angry. And I feel bad for, your last caller. I think he's a black gentleman. People man, I think it's going to get real racist around, the United States. For real, because that mom that lost. Well, I mean that mom that lost her daughter. You think she's going to have animosity towards that group of people? I think so. So
you mean who are you referring to?
The All Lives Matter girl who was killed.
Okay, she was not the daughter. She was a mother. Or maybe she was a daughter too, I guess.
I mean her mother who's still alive.
Okay.
Because they went on her mother's Facebook and were harassing her.
Oh, it was her mother's Facebook? I thought it was her own Facebook. But yeah, Crazy.
I might be mistaken.
Yeah,
but
no,
her
you
mom
probably
bought
have it right. I don't know. But yeah, the mother and the son, the surviving son of that white girl who said all lives matter.
Yeah.
And I don't even know the whole story with that. But yeah, anger is going to spread, and whites are falling into this trap of being angry about this attack on them. And they're
I don't understand why whites put up with this stuff from Nick Cannon, because you see, he says one thing about Jews and he's done. The Jews don't put up with this.
I know.
I used to work for a big Jewish company, man. They don't.
But I'll tell you what, though, because I don't think that those Jewish people are necessarily doing it right, because he has the freedom of speech. Why would you? Well, I don't know. And the other thing is, like, they're hateful too. They're not defending. 100%. If you defend what's right, you defend what's right for no matter who's being attacked. Because they support the attack on whites, they are supporting that. So they're not being just either. And
I don't want to get into the Jew thing, and I don't want to come off as one of those people who call in about the Jews. But I will say that as I live in an area with a lot of Jewish people. I've worked for a big Jewish company as a designer, and they are a group that believes in. I mean, they would hold Jewish-only events. They do this all the time. They're a group that's
I'm telling you, James, that the point is that they're not necessarily doing it right either. And whites, if whites are Christians, or if anybody who's listening is a Christian and they're from whatever race they are, and they see this attack on whites, they don't have to respond in the way that the world is responding to a slight by the likes of Nick Cannon. They can respond in a way that's wiser and more showing love by just telling the harsh truth back at him, and yet not resenting him or trying to get him fired and all that ridiculous stuff. We got to bring back the spirit of the freedom of speech in this country, because otherwise people are going to be stifled.
The Jews and the blacks are groups of exclusion. They're not groups of inclusion.
I know, but the point is, I'm talking about what the whites need to do. So you can.
What should whites do?
Not fall into this type of mindset.
I mean, but we already don't defend ourselves. So I mean, we're already doing that, right?
No, you're not doing it in the right way, because you're thinking in terms of whites as a group, whereas you should be thinking in terms of what's right, and fighting smart, not looking at what they're doing and not doing, and being hung up on that.
What do you think about all this stuff, these race issues and stuff like that? It seems to me like it's a little bit more like a class issue, like, wealthy people, moderately wealthy people.
It's not even that. It's both. It's good versus evil. People will use anything to divide and to hate. And, when I was in junior high school, I went to Gidley Elementary School through junior high, right? That used to be called middle school. And we were in 8th grade, some of us were going to this Arroyo High School, and some of us were going to Rosemead. So the Arroyo people hated the Rosemead people. And then when we went to Arroyo High School, then it was, I went to Gidley, you went to Frank Wright, you went to Durfee. Right. So everybody's going to divide on anything that they can. Oh, white boy, woman, whatever. People are just hateful people. So it's not people that say it's race and it's only race, or people that say it's only it's good versus evil. It's a mischaracterization to fall into this stuff.
It seems like, because it keeps happening, it seems like people are tribal, and it's kind of nature to maybe stay with your group that you identify with. I don't know. It doesn't seem very complicated to me. But I don't want to take up your whole call, man. Your time.
James.
I wanted to ask just 2 more things, if I may.
Real fast. I gotta. Yeah. You can ask me one more thing. I gotta go to the break.
So I wanted to back, because I was the caller who called you, and I was talking about Patton and the Nazis and stuff like that. And
you said that Patton found the spear, right? That killed Jesus.
Yeah. And then the other caller called in, but he was saying the same thing I said in the end. Is that it's kind of a conspiracy, but and Patton wanted to basically wipe out the Russians, but. the reason why I wanted to comment on what she said, because she was denying that, like, these martyrs are similar to the 13 Nazis that were martyred and basically deified. There's no difference, Maze, in any of this stuff, because go look at all the bills they're passing through. They're literally named after these people, and a lot of these people were not good people. They were trash people. They did bad things. They suffered consequences. Unfortunately, they're dead. But it doesn't mean that, you know. And also the mask is coming off on this whole culture. They're hateful. They're oppressive. If you gave, I would like Maze, if she's listening, to call in and answer this. If we gave every black person in America an entire state, would that state be fair for everyone, and would it be inclusive?
All right, James, I got to wrap it up.
All right.
Take care, man. Appreciate you. I got to take a break, guys. We are over the first hour. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Hang tight, guys. I'm going to talk about the Twitter hack, which is hilarious to me, and then I will get to your calls. Hang tight, Al and Sean and my favorite caller, Maze, on the line, and the rest of you. I'll be right back. Hang tight.
What you need.
The end of that song, I expect to hear, yeah, which I don't know which like metal or classic rock or whatever band that was that did that, if it was Metallica or what, but it just reminds me of that ending of the song. Anyways, guys, this is the second hour. It's almost 10:10 a.m. here in Los Angeles. This is hour 2 of the Hake Report, and I will be getting to your calls. Al, hang tight. I'm getting to you next, the first-time caller from Detroit, Michigan. But quickly, I just want to read a few of the responses to this Nick Cannon thing, and I want to say, too, before that, the reason why I don't think that whites should be getting into whiteness, aside from the fact that it's plainly dumb when you see blacks and anybody else getting into their blackness, is because you'll notice that a lot of the whites that get into the whiteness turn into snakes. And actually, most people in general, regardless of whether they believe in identity politics or identitarianism or anything, most people, period, are evil. And so you're going to end up siding with, you're going to have a bunch of snakes with you, no matter what you do. And you can't even really identify with being a Christian unless, like, it's the real, very specific, like the real kind of Christian. Because there's going to be some people that are not Christian or anti-Christian, and then they're going to wake up out of being that, and then they'll be Christian-friendly and maybe even become Christians. And also, yeah, just this snake thing. People are just so, people are just so evil. They'll say they're not doing something, and then they'll go right on doing it. You'll almost, it seems like, I don't know if it's always or almost always, or like, I don't want to be rude, but, or I don't want to get into the Jew thing, but, and I don't want to harp on this, but, I don't want to interrupt you, but they'll go on doing what they say that they don't want to do. It's funny. Haven't you noticed that? That's kind of a side note. People who just pretend to be friendly, but they're not. People are really fake. You have to, like, identify with what's right. Jesus even denied his own family, mother and sister and brothers, right? He said, my mother and sister and brothers are those who do the will of God, right? Mr. Petty says, Earl is my third favorite caller. He's getting meaner. Wow, demoted. Kind of like Brad Parscale, who was the campaign manager for Trump. He got demoted, I heard, in favor of some other guy. Strulicht gave a diamond. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Strulicht, but thank you. There is no true love in the world, says Ra42A. Yeah, true. That is a true statement. That's partly why you can't be getting sucked into, you're getting, you know, people, whites are attacked as a group, and they're attacked as whites, so they start to identify as whites and identify with the group, and they kind of become what they're attacked as. It's kind of, I don't know, become what they hate. It's interesting. But about this Nick Cannon thing, it's so funny. Some guy, Cash Jackson, tweeted, dang, only he didn't say dang, Nick Cannon is the Black David Duke. And that was the excerpt that I played for you guys where he was talking about non-melanated people or don't have compassion, they're more animals. They're closer to being animals. But this person whose Twitter name is Hard Being Black, B-L-A-K, Hard Being Black, right? Like it's hard being black in America. I think it was a woman. She tweeted in response to Nick Cannon's statements about whites, non-blacks really. I don't see nothing wrong. What happened to freedom of speech? Guess that only worked for white people. SMH, dang, Nick. I guess that only works for whites. Whites have the least freedom of speech. We can't even say the N-word. Of course, neither can Bill Maher, right? And then somebody else, Ms. Reezy, R-E-E-Z-Y. No, R-E-E-E-Z-Y. Said, dang, Nick Cannon got fired before the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor. And, you know, I've looked into this Breonna Taylor thing. I looked up the Wikipedia write-up of it, which has a leftist slant, of course, right? And Breonna Taylor, she was boyfriends with, or one of her ex-boyfriends was a drug dealer. And then her boyfriend that she was in the house with, and what was she doing in the house with her boyfriend? But anyways, that's beside the point. Sex out of wedlock, right? Shouldn't be doing that. I don't know if she was in the act, right? But whatever. She was in the house when they raided this current boyfriend's home. And I don't know if it was the right home, but this boyfriend, or male friend anyways, he had a gun that he had legally. He fired at the police. Allegedly, he thought that they were intruders, okay? But he fired, there was an exchange of gunfire, and she was shot in the crossfire. And you're going to accuse these cops of murder? I guess you could call it murder in the sense that if they were at all negligent, you could call it like a negligent homicide, right? And in a sense, that could be like a crazy, like a manslaughter or something. But I really don't think that they murdered Breonna Taylor on purpose. But anyways, I'm nitpicking the black's dark mindset, right? Here's another thing, a kissing up black person who said, "What's up with all these Nick Cannon lost his job faster than Breonna Taylor's killers takes?" Breonna Taylor, the victim, right? ViacomCBS doesn't run a police department. This is from Ahmed Baba on Twitter. And he said, what Nick Cannon said was wildly anti-Semitic, right? Never mind that it was wildly anti-anything that's non-black, really. We should be allying with marginalized groups, not beating them down. Stop defending Nick, is what this guy says. I do have these. Did I give these tweets to you? I don't think I did. Never mind. He said, if you read what Nick Cannon said, it's indefensible. And he's talking about allying with marginalized groups. And who's more marginalized than whites? But we don't want to ally with evil people, right? That's why I say, don't be getting sucked into that mindset of identifying with other than what's right. If you read what Nick Cannon said, it's indefensible. Aside from calling white people a little less, meaning inferior, and calling white and Jewish people savages, he said all this nonsense. I'm not down with this. We can't accept this kind of bigotry. And so he tweets some screenshots of quotes from Mr. Griffin, Professor Griff, and Nick Cannon. He's talking about his past remarks about the influence of Jewish people on the music and media industry. I'm hated now because I told the truth, said Professor Griff, right? You're speaking facts, Mr. Cannon said. There's no reason to be scared of anything when you're speaking the truth. And a lot of people think they're speaking the truth when they're speaking maybe facts, or maybe not necessarily facts. Maybe they are facts, though. But the truth is, as Jesus said in the Bible, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So that means that just speaking facts doesn't mean you're about truth, because the whole truth is you're evil, right? Anyways, Mr. Cannon said it was an honor to have a legend, Mr. Griffin, on his podcast. He also said it was a shame that Louis Farrakhan, a minister known for his history of anti-Semitic comments, has been silenced on Facebook. Responding to Mr. Griffin's contention that 6 dominant media companies were controlled by Jewish people, Mr. Cannon said it was comparable to the power of the Rothschilds, the banking scions, who were a focus of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. I find myself wanting to debate this idea, and it gets real wishy and washy and unclear for me when they give so much power to the theys and then turn into Illuminati, the Zionists, the Rothschilds, said Nick Cannon later in the podcast. So he did say more than just what he said about the whites, right? He also echoed Mr. Griffin's remarks about how black people are Semitic people by definition, and that Semitic people are not white. You can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people, said Mr. Cannon said. That's our birthright. So if that's truly our birthright, there's no hate involved. Meaning, I guess, that it's okay to be anti-white. Because it's not anti-Semitic in his mind. But that's what this Ahmed Baba said. And he said, the fact that I'm being called a coon for calling out Nick Cannon's bigotry is truly wild. And he goes on and on and on, talking, and then he talks about the radical right and BLM protests and right-wing wackos. You know, he seems to support the Black Lives Matter side. And he said he's amplified BLM and opposed Trump. So this guy, this is Ahmed Baba? This is him? Oh, that's Nick Cannon. That's Nick Cannon? Dang, he looks old right there. Wow. Interesting. I mean, he just has an expression that looks dignified, I guess. But anyways, this guy is an evil person, Ahmed Baba. But he's pointing out this, he's pointing out the one, I don't know, he's being ridiculous. He's a white hater himself. So, just wanted to share that with you. I had forgotten to share that to you. Let me quickly get to Al, first-time caller out of Detroit, Michigan. Thank you for holding, Al. What's up?
The Hake Report.
Hey, nice to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks. One thing you need to take away from this is whoever you are not allowed to criticize or question is your master. And his masters, that dog bit his master, and he was sent down the road just like Hagar and Ishmael. He's banished.
Hagar and Ishmael. Okay.
Right.
That's the children of. That's the children and mistress of Abraham. Yeah.
Yeah, but Isaac.
Weren't they the father of the Muslims?
One.
Anyways. Yeah.
But anyway, that's all beside the point.
It is beside the point because it is beside the point because they're all serving evil. It's just one's on top of the dog pile right now. But they're all servants of evil. They're not really the masters. They're every bit as much of servants of evil themselves. They're out of control people.
He said a lot of anti-white stuff. He said a lot of anti-white stuff.
Yep.
But that's not what he was fired for. He was fired for anti-Semitism.
So-called.
So it's not the white so-called supremacists who are really supreme.
I know.
It's the ones who fired him, who claim to be the chosen people of God, or in other words, the master race. Now, when you hear somebody talk about white supremacy, that's a fallacy. We don't consider ourselves supreme or masters of God's chosen people. You're accepted by God's grace if you accept Christ. You know?
I mean, people even repeat that, and they don't really live it.
Well,
and that's why they're losing now. That's why the whites and the Christians are losing, because it's a false version of Christianity. People just repeat these lines from the Bible, thinking that that's what they're living, and they're not. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, of course.
So he was fired not for anti-whiteness, which he could still be saying all kinds of anti-white stuff right now at this moment. But he was fired because he hurt the Jews' feelings, and they're the ones running the show. So whenever they talk about white supremacy, that's BS.
Yep.
We're not
appreciate it, Al.
To be supreme. Okay. Peace.
Thank you, man.
Amazing.
Take care. Let me quickly get to Sean, first-time caller out of Nashville, Tennessee. Sean, how are you doing?
Doing well, James. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. What's up?
Good, man. Good to talk to you. And are you the same James that used to produce Jesse's show?
Yes.
Man, that's beautiful, man. Hey, you're doing a hell of a job. Can I say that on the radio? Is that a curse?
I wouldn't say it, but it just slipped off your tongue. Okay. Whatever.
Absolutely. I apologize. So what I wanted to say was that I agree with a lot of things that you're saying, and specifically when you say it's evil versus good.
Yeah.
It's not race. It's not class. It's not culture necessarily. Evil versus good. My question to you is, so as we look at how things are moving today, when we say that there is a problem systemically with race versus or culture or anything of that nature, is that non-existent, or how do we address those things? Because we can't go to the government and say it's good versus evil.
You kind of can, but the problem is the evil is in the government too. The evil is in like all of the people, because you'll notice even if you change the government, the people haven't changed. Most like anything that Trump does that's right. Let's say Trump tries to do something right. There's a whole bunch of corrupt judges and corrupt politicians and corrupt everybody who's fighting against him on that and preventing it from happening one way or another. You know, so it's.
And let me preface it. I'm neither left or right. I'm kind of one of those guys in the middle. I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm trying to figure which side is making the most sense, to be honest. And there are a lot of things that do not make sense to me. And you can't be about black lives and be about abortion. I agree with that.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. So there are a number of things, but what I'm needing to hear from my guests is that you consider yourself to be on the left or the conservative. I'm sorry, the right, the conservative.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're on the right and of the conservative interest, how do we explain government intervention in some of the things?
How do you explain government intervention?
Government intervention, yes. Should we need the laws, or should we need the legislation and regulation to step in? Because if you're against that, why do we want that?
I'm not against government intervention in enforcing the law, in enforcing just laws.
No. I'm talking about in regulating the law in terms of, because, all right, so let's say when the law is such that bankers can't do certain things. That's the law. Why was it such that a lot of the right was against those legal regulations? They wanted those taken off the books.
Because those were unjust laws. Like there's over-regulation. It's unquestioned that there is over-regulation preventing businesses from operating well, and they would leave the country in part because of those regulations, or it became very expensive and not cost-effective. So it was, the big. Hold on. The big businesses were able to, the big corporations that were already in bed with the government are able to absorb the costs of doing those regulations. And meanwhile, the smaller businesses that were possibly competitors to those businesses can't handle doing all these, jumping through all these hoops and regulations. Those were unjust regulations. And Trump has gotten.
I understand that. Unjust regulation. I understand that.
Yeah.
And then mind you, again, I'm trying to pick sides. I'm trying to, and I appreciate what you're saying. So,
what do you agree with the left about?
Well, once again, I agree that pro-life is typically the thing to do, to be. It should be that you can't.
Right, but what do you agree with the left about? The left.
I'm sorry, the left.
The liberals.
I agree with the left about. For me, and see, this is what's funny for me. As I listen to you guys, and I've listened to Jesse for years. There's a young lady out of Atlanta that's running for Senate that has actually made some solid arguments about a lot of things. I agree with those. So what I agree with the left about, I agree. I believe that in terms of capitalism, okay, let's go to economics. Capitalism. If you want true and fair capitalism, it's almost impossible to have it take off from right now without some accommodations for certain people. Because if capitalism was going to be true and fair, the head start that certain people have is insurmountable. You can't catch up.
That's not true.
Tell me how it's not true.
First of all, what do you need to catch up with? You just need to get on with your own life. That's one thing. What is this catch-up thing? You can get on with your own life. I don't need to be as rich as Jeff Bezos or take away any of his amount of his wealth. I'm doing fine, and you're doing fine too. This inequality thing is a false thing. And hold on, and a fortune, let's say a fortune of wealth, is made and lost and made and lost in a matter of a lifetime. You know, by a single person.
Every day, not a lifetime. Every day.
Yeah, and so people, money.
There are people that go broke and get rich again every day.
Yeah, money is easy come, easy go. And sometimes it's hard come.
You need access to that.
No, man, don't.
You need, if you don't have access to it, if you don't
have access to it by capitalism. I mean, I'm not for this unchecked globalist capitalism or globalist socialism. I'm for protecting the country, right? But what you're talking about is what, like socialism or something, or giving.
No, not at all.
But it sounds like you agree with the left. It sounds like you.
America has.
You said America.
Has three. Well,
you said America.
Three social programs primarily.
You said America is. You said America is socialist.
I did not say America is. I said America has. America has three socialist programs primarily. Those programs are all the three most popular programs in the country.
Sean, you're not really being clear. Hey, the Globe and Mail reports. Hold on, Sean. The Globe and Mail reports 70% of families lose their wealth by the second generation.
Absolutely.
So this lie of I can't catch up and all this stuff.
Tell me where the report came from and what the time frame of was.
Globe and Mail. I don't know.
I know there are families from the 60s. I went to college with a kid. Our dorm was named after his great-grandfather.
Maybe they're part of the 30% and they're doing it right. Whatever, Sean. But the point is, you're just feeding into this lie of envy and rob the rich to give to the so-called poor, and nobody's poor in America.
I'm trying to have a conversation. I know I'm not, because I don't want to rob anybody.
No, but I'm telling you
what I've heard.
But
I'm doing okay by myself.
Then why do you?
I'm doing that.
Then if you don't really have a reason to support the left.
No, I do have a point. My point is that when there are people that are not included.
Who's not included?
Well, okay, let's say, for example, when the college that I went to, and I won't even say the name of the college, great college, there were kids that I knew that.
Come on, man. Just tell me who's not included. Get to the point, because we're on a radio show that's only 2 hours long. Who's not included?
Oh, it's only.
Yeah.
Who's not included is pretty much anyone that is not, and I agree with you, it's people that are not connected. And what breeds connection? Connection breeds privilege. Connection breeds upper class existence.
But people get connected all the time. People get hookups all the time. And you can get connected and you can work and become somebody that people want to be connected. Hey, Sean, you know that human beings can create amazing value in the world, or even just sufficient value in the world by themselves. They don't necessarily need a connection, but they also do get connected, and they become people with whom you want to become connected all the time.
Absolutely.
And that's what.
Hold on now, but see,
that's
you
what.
said something, James. Very smart. And I love the fact that you said something that was very smart right there. You said people have the ability to get connected, and people will get connected if given opportunity to be in those rooms. And when we have to look at pure capitalism in such a fact that, and it is fact, that if we were to say, all right, let's take everything away, there's no regulations, no affirmative action.
I'm going cross-eyed.
This would be the United States of Google if there were no regulation.
No, it would not. That's not true. I do not believe that for a second, man. That is not true. Sean. Okay, maybe.
I'm not a leftist.
Hold on.
I'm not a leftist. I'm not a rightist.
I know, but you're wrong. Hold on, Sean. Sean.
People do.
I'm going to put you on hold, Sean.
The right thing. You've already said the majority.
Sean, you're on hold. I'm trying to get through to you. I mean, I'm not going to get through to you, but I'm trying to give a word in edgewise. So you're on hold, Sean. Let me test you. Okay, Sean, you're on hold. Okay, nobody can hear you. I mean. This would not be. Google is in bed with the government, man. I hear that they're breaking rules. and I don't know if they are or not, but this would not be the United States of, even if it was, your idea that leftism is what would fix it is not true. Google is breaking the First Amendment. They're betraying America in many different ways. The people who are really going to solve the Google issue is not anybody on the left. Nobody on the left is even remotely honest. Not Elizabeth Warren, who wants to investigate Facebook. She's every bit as evil as Facebook. And so I don't get why you're so blind. Wait, why did you put him on? Why are you going to him, Nick? I'm trying to talk to him. Huh? No, I was talking to him. I was putting him on hold because he wouldn't be quiet. But I was saying, anyways, he hung up. You hung up on him or he hung up? Okay. Well, I was trying to make a point, but he wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. Anyways, I don't know. You're blind, Sean. You can call back tomorrow, though. I got to run. I got to keep moving. Let me get to the super chats. No, I was. I guess Nick wasn't paying attention. He thought that I couldn't hear him or something. But I was telling him to be quiet, so I put him on hold, and that's what was happening. Straulicht gave a diamond. I think I already acknowledged that one. Thank you, man. Skip gave a diamond and said, "When are you gonna do the chicken bone story, Hake?" I don't know, man. I can't bring myself to be interested. But this falling for this victimhood thing, including this anti-capitalism thing, and you can have your criticisms of, I don't think Google is capitalism. I don't think it is, because it's in bed with the government. It has all kinds of protections from lawsuits and all that stuff, right? They're protecting them from lawsuits. And I'm not a fan of lawsuits in general because they're like bringing down the country. For example, ACLU is bringing down the country in part, right? Our degeneracy is too, but they are preventing Trump from. Oh, he came back on the line? Oh, okay. Anyways, Sean, did you get my point that it's Google wouldn't be Google's problem would not be solved by leftism at all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think that you're absolutely correct, and I think I listened to Candace Owens. I don't know if you're a fan of her.
I don't know much about her.
Okay, well, I think the problem with that statement is that for pure capitalism to take place, then we need businesses to be responsible within themselves.
But that's enforcing the law, man. Sean, let
me finish real quick, bro.
All right.
I apologize. I know I cut you off, and I apologize. I'll never do that again because I like your show, and I think you do a great job. But what I'm saying is, so the reason why we have regulations against monopolies and things of that nature is because certain businesses, you get powerful enough, then yes, you can wipe out everybody else, and it becomes what you want it to be. And that's not just purely, we're looking at that economically, we're looking at that in terms of business, in terms of capitalism. But do you not think that would happen in terms of social relevance as well? So when this number of people get into power in politics, business, whatever it may be, they're going to bring on the people that they want. They're going to control it the way they want to. And we can't say anything about that if it's unregulated.
Okay, let me respond now. I get your point.
All right. And thanks for listening. And I
appreciate that. Okay, so, and don't worry about interrupting me. I know you get excited. People get excited, right? Yeah. So about the Google thing and monopolies, who are the best people who are fighting against these evil people at all? It's people on the right. People like Tucker Carlson or people like President Trump. People like President Trump to a certain extent.
Okay.
Why are you chuckling about that?
I like Tucker. Tucker is brilliant.
No, but why are you chuckling about that?
Well, why I'm chuckling about that is because they are not at all the people fighting against injustice in terms of business and capitalism. I'm not even talking about social injustice. I'm talking about business.
Right. I'm talking about business
too.
Would
rather. Where does Tucker Carlson come from, if you don't mind me asking?
What is his family heritage?
Tell me why you're chuckling about Tucker
Can you
Carlson.
answer that question first?
No, you answer my question
before
first.
You answer the question. Don't do the Jesse thing.
No.
Don't just put another question.
You
back
can't
on
tell me what to do. I'm the
before-
host. Tell me why you're chuckling at Tucker Carlson's criticisms of Google.
I'm chuckling because I know where Tucker Carlson's family comes from. And if he is a proponent of fairness in business, it's laughable to me.
Okay, well, that's a silly statement. I mean, you're just blind because nobody.
Well, actually, no.
No. Let me explain why you're blind because nobody.
I'm a blind person. I really am a blind person.
Oh, I know you. You used to call in.
Yes, you do.
What name did you? I recognized your voice. What name did you used to go by?
I'm the same guy used to call in to Jesse about 5 years ago.
What did you used to call yourself?
Yep. No, it's the same name. It's Sean.
It was not Sean, man. It was not Sean.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. But I'm telling you, you're intellectually or spiritually blind, not to see that nobody
okay.
Nobody else besides Tucker have I seen in the mainstream calling out Google other than like Alex Jones. The people on the right are the ones who are calling out Google for the evil that they're doing. Okay, that's
why
one.
I hate the mainstream. I don't listen to any of the mainstream. I can't.
You just said that you know and like Tucker, and you're chuckling at
no.
supposedly
what I know who he is,
and you're laughing
I
at
like some of his positions, but I don't.
So then you don't know what he's. Hold on. So then you don't know what he's said about Google then.
I do not. Tell me what he said about.
So then you're just laughing ignorantly. You're just laughing based on so-called where he came from. That's so black, man. Anyways. Anyways.
I never said I was black, though. Hold on.
You are black. Come on. Don't even joke with that one.
Hold on. Who said I was black, though?
I said you're black.
Okay. Well, then I'll accept it. I do happen to be a black man.
I know.
Okay. No worries.
He used to be something else. I forget what his name was. Anyways, man, it's nice to hear from you again. Dang.
You as well, brother. Hey, man, keep doing a good job, man.
All right.
I mean, the show is entertaining.
And okay. As far as the people who become super powerful, right? Freedom and this. I don't know what you mean by pure capitalism, because that's like over my head. But capitalism and freedom and whatever that we're for. Freedom. There's a statement from a founding father that something like freedom. You can't have freedom without morality, and so we need morality, and that is only being pushed. That's only being pushed by the right. The left is anti-morality. They have a false version. They have a false version of morality, but they're not for true morality. Man, it's so dang. I didn't think I'd ever hear from you again. Like I think that you got mad or something. But
no, I didn't get mad. Actually, I told you guys I was in school at the time, and I had to finish a degree. So I was working on something, man.
Okay.
I got busy.
All right.
I didn't have time to play with you guys in the morning anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
But now, so I finished the degree, so I'm good now.
And you don't even remember what you used to call yourself. It was something else. Anyways.
No, it was always Sean. My name is Sean. So did I really used to call myself something else?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, let me ask you this other question. Since we are in the throes of comical and healthy debate, so as we look at what's going on, and I'll go back to my original question, the Black Lives Matter thing, right?
Yeah.
And this is me going on what I understand it to be.
Make it quick for me.
Okay, I'll make it as quick as I can. What I understand it to be was about injustice with police brutality against people of color.
Yeah.
Why is that such a scary thing to?
Oh, you don't realize? You don't realize? Okay, so first of all,
I don't, man. School me, brother. School me.
All right. So first of all, this police brutality thing is an emotional term for excessive use of force, right, by the cops, alleged, and in many cases, in most cases, well, many cases, in the most prominent cases, let's say, they're lying. For example,
well, I will say this: white people die per capita at a higher clip than black people do. That is the truth. That is a FBI stat. So that is a real. So when they talk about death
per run-ins with police, yeah.
I don't agree with the death aspect of it. That's not the truth.
The bigger thing with Black Lives Matter, aside from them being like radical, anti-white, well, I mean, they're very anti-white, anti-America, anti-men. They're pro-LGBTQIA stuff.
Why are they anti-white? Why are they anti-America though?
Because they're hateful people. They're blind, hateful people. That's why.
Let me ask you this question.
Are you saying that you don't? Are you saying you don't see that they're anti-white?
No. What I'm saying is
because Black Lives Matter. The term Black Lives Matter is it's like a backhanded, passive-aggressive
Black Lives Matter too.
It's
my understanding.
The slur.
I'm also going on my understanding.
The slur.
I can personally say. Let me say this real quick.
All right.
I can easily say white lives matter, and it's not a problem to me. And yes, white lives matter, and there's a lot of black people that will say, "Well, white lives matter forever." The reason I don't have to say it is because it's always been the case.
Right, but this is the point.
I can say that personally.
Hold on, Sean.
I believe I've got white friends.
Sean.
I don't want anything to happen to them.
Sean.
But why can't someone else say that, yes, Black Lives Matter?
If you're physically blind, you're supposed to have better hearing, and you're supposed to be able to hear me when I say shh. Don't your senses go higher when you're blind? You can hear me better.
Don't know that. A lot of people don't know that being blind makes your hearing better. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It just makes you talk louder. See?
Oh, okay. Anyways. The slur of Black Lives Matter is that the backhanded accusation that whites are the ones who are not valuing blacks' lives when it's blacks themselves who are not valuing them. Anyways, Sean, I got to run. Let's talk again. I like talking with you, man.
No doubt.
All right.
Hey, great talk, brother. All right.
All right. Take care. Man, my favorite caller, I got to get to her. She's been on hold forever. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. How are you doing?
Hello, James.
Hey.
Yes, why didn't you let me answer his question and tell him myself?
I was so done with that guy. I did not want that you're referring to. Yeah,
James.
Yeah, okay.
Because I told you there was something wrong with him, and he showed it. Why you want to get revenge on something that he thinks you're supposed to be getting revenge on, unless he got hatred in his heart?
What revenge? What revenge are you saying that he wants?
He was saying the mother said all lives matter, and her son and something got to get revenge. Why do they need revenge?
Oh, no, he was. I don't think. Hold on, Mace.
What?
In defense of that man who called, James, from I forget where, he wasn't saying that revenge is a good thing, but he's saying that this hatred is only going to spread. And he's right about that. He was saying, hold on, Mace. He's saying that allowing this attack upon white people is only going to breed anger and resentment on the part of the white people and on the part of everybody. And
really?
That's true. He's not for revenge, Mace, I don't think.
When it comes to Black Lives Matter,
yeah.
And God made me black, and my life is going to always matter.
I know, but don't fall for the Black Lives Matter sleazy stuff.
And when it comes to doing business with people and all of the different things, when he want to know if he gave me a place,
oh, yeah. Right.
Tell him I would give it back to him, because I don't like nobody to give me nothing. I like to earn everything that I have, and I will get.
That's very white of you, Maze. I'm just playing.
I will give it back to him.
Right on, Maze. I appreciate that. Because you know why, Maze? Because you're kind of, hold on, because you're kind of old school and decent. That's right. I called Maze decent.
No, I got that. And so, you want to tell me what I am, but I can't tell you what you are. Really?
Well, I called you decent, and now you're acting.
I mean, there's different kind of black people. I told you I can give you the different type. But you won't never give me the opportunity.
Whatever.
There's some that was old and out in the country, like used to walk on the road.
Why can't you say thank you like a lady?
Like a lady. The way y'all put women down, please.
Oh, come on.
I don't know what's wrong with them sitting and let y'all put them down like that. Like a mother. It's just
don't act like it's not deserved.
The father, which y'all don't do. You got to honor the father, but forget the mother.
No, that's not true.
When you get hurt,
hey, that's a false. Hold on, Maze. That's a false caricature of what Jesse's message is, because he says to forgive the mother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he does. That is right.
As I say, it says honor. So how are you honoring your mother?
By forgiving her.
Really?
Yeah.
You say you haven't forgiven your mother yet, so I'm still waiting for you to do it.
Well, I said I was wrong.
So not your mother's fault after you turn a certain age and you release yourself and leave home. It's not her fault because you did the things that you. If you went out there and the guy that called in from Georgia, he's messed up in the head too. He do not speak for all black people. because I never killed anybody, never planned on killing nobody, and I don't hate people, and I don't let other people teach me to hate.
I don't know. I think that you do hate people.
He is sick. Excuse me, what makes you think that I hate people because you don't like me giving an opinion?
Well,
opinion.
Okay, but you say you don't seem to like when I or Bible go-to guy or some other white person gives an opinion about blacks.
That's right. You and Bible go-to guy or other Caucasians don't like for other people to give y'all an opinion.
Yeah, we do. We love the freedom of speech.
You only want to say blacks killing blacks, but you don't never say Caucasians kill each other too every day, just like black people.
I know, but not as much as black people kill each other.
You want to make it a big deal, but when it comes to you killing each other...
That's so silly, Maze. That shows a lack of love for black people because they're killing each other at a rate like 4 more times the rate of whites. I know, but blacks are doing it way more, and you're showing you're trying to diminish black on black crime. When white on white crime is bad too, but it's not even a quarter as bad.
It is bad.
It is not as a quarter as bad.
Bad, James.
It is bad too. It is bad too. I know, but why do you need to bring up the whites when the blacks are way worse?
I need you to see yourself too.
You don't need me to do anything but stay white and live.
Cherry pick. You want to cherry pick and act like it's just only black people killing each other.
I never said that it's only. I said that they're the worst offenders.
But
worst
as a white man,
offenders.
You tell a black woman, and she can't tell you the same thing, or a black man.
In short,
you're doing the same thing.
The point is, you do hate people giving their opinion.
I don't hate.
Yes, you do.
You can feel the hate in the heart, just like the James that called in. He got hate in his heart. He's right.
He may. It may be true, Mace. It may be true. But the point is, you seem to be scrutinizing the whites and not yourself.
We got to live by who wrote the laws.
You always tell people to look at themselves, but do you look at yourself really? Do you really do that, Maze?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Why I'm talking to you.
Very nice. Okay. Well, nice talking with you, Mace.
I don't sound like I hate anybody because I don't spread the word of trying to have a race right.
Yeah, but you don't have any love for the blacks. Hang on, Mace. You don't have any love for the blacks who are killing each other.
Excuse me?
You don't have any love for the blacks who are being killed by each other.
I don't even know those people.
Exactly.
And you don't either, so why you on here?
But that doesn't mean I can't love them. I'm not saying that I do, but you're supposed to love people that... Hold on, Mace. You're supposed to love people... Hold on, Mace. I'm putting you on hold. I put her on hold. Be quiet, lady. You're supposed to... Just because you don't know somebody, it doesn't mean you're supposed to not love them. What the heck? That's worldly thinking. I thought she believed in God's law. And she doesn't know the white people who are killing each other. But she thinks that, is she called to save the whites or something? I don't know.
As I was saying, James.
Yeah.
If people with riding horse want to raise riot, they want to mistreat people, they don't want to have people have anything, and then you come to talk about abortion. Now, they killed that man the other day in the electric chair, and that's an abortion too.
I know, but he was not an innocent person. Hold on, Mace. The babies who are killed, that's the closest thing to innocent you can get in a human being, right?
Really?
Besides after they're born again?
Anybody that's the closest thing to a human.
A baby is innocent. A criminal is a criminal who deserves to get killed.
No,
at least a criminal on death row is usually one who deserves to get killed. Hopefully.
You said that should not kill. So if you're killing somebody else because of a crime someone else did,
that's rich. That's rich coming from somebody who's downplaying the black killing of black people.
You're downplaying the white killing too.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Because you don't talk about it, but you want to.
I do too. Talk about it.
News media, you do it every day, and you don't never talk about it.
I gotta go, Maze. It's a waste of time. But nice talking with you.
Talk about that when they're black.
You have a good day. I hung up right away on her, right? Alpha. I'm just playing around. Lynn, out of Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for holding. Lynn, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing fine?
Oh, I was going to mention to you that here in Chicago, we had a bus driver. Well, actually, the passenger got into a fight with a bus driver.
Uh-huh.
He ended up getting two of the bus drivers fired, and
yikes!
Now he has a lawsuit going on. To proceed that, he said that the bus driver swung on him, kicked him, and threw him off the bus. Footage shows that the passenger initiated the fight. So, I mean, if you can pull that footage, all you have to do is Google it. It is the most hilarious thing you can watch that has come out of Chicago recently.
People are such blatant liars, huh?
Yeah. They had the guy on the news. He's lying his balls off.
Whoa.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the tip, Lynn. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like you said, that footage is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
One of the bus drivers comes out of nowhere, picks the guy up, body slams him.
Is this black on black?
Yeah, black on black.
Crazy. What a life. I don't know how you do it living in Chicago, but then again, I live in LA, but it's not as bad as Chicago. Although it is with the homelessness stuff and the ridiculous mess.
Recently, me and my wife, we went to Las Vegas.
Uh-huh. My wife and I.
Being out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Was absolutely crazy.
Was it a ghost town?
Well, the thing was, there are still people out there. Pretty much, my wife got free tickets, and it's like we're at the casinos, and then like some homeless dude walks in asking me for money. I'm like, get out of here, man. I'm like, this is not. I'm like, begging for money in a casino is not even an appropriate place.
Yep.
If I was gambling, I think that would give me bad luck.
Right.
And then we're standing outside going to the other casinos, and then it's like you get this big old whiff of marijuana smoke, and then you're looking around to see where it's coming from, and there's no one around you. And then I'm thinking, is there a skunk around here? I'm like, wait a minute, there can't be no skunk around here. It's too bright, and really, I don't think skunks exist out in Las Vegas, do they?
I don't know.
Yeah, so that whole thing is just ridiculous, and if that's coming out this way, I'm like, man, we're doomed.
Yeah, with this COVID thing, these shutdowns and all that mess, it's a shame. Anyways, man, appreciate it, Lynn. Thank you for the tips.
All right, you take care.
All right, you as well. So, guys, let me tell you briefly a little bit more about this Twitter hack in the last few minutes that I have here. So, I told you that yesterday, I told on Hake News at the end of hour 1 today about all of these. I have the pictures from this Twitter hack, actually, Joel. And I'm not, you can just show them just without me mentioning any specific ones, just plow through them. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, I think, a whole bunch of people. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Kanye West, Mike Bloomberg, Apple, Wendy's, Uber, Coinbase, Cash App, which is owned by, I don't know, it was founded by Square, which was founded by Jack Dorsey, who's the CEO of Twitter. Posted all these scammy type of funny messages about, I'm giving back to the community. All Bitcoin sent to the address below will be sent back doubled. If you send 1,000, I'll send back 2,000. Only doing this for 30 minutes. Enjoy. And it shares this long, weird Bitcoin address wallet thing. And it's Mike Bloomberg shared it. All these different people shared it. And Elon Musk tweeted multiple times. And some people think that it started in the crypto aspect of Twitter, more, where people are into the crypto stuff and they talk amongst each other on Twitter, which is a social media platform. And this takeover lasted more than 2 hours, according to NBC. Trump didn't tweet any fake tweets, but Twitter locked down all the blue checkmark verified accounts so that journalists and public figures who are verified on Twitter, blue checkmark verified liberals and others, they couldn't tweet, but we could, the normal people of us. And it's possible that the DMs, direct private messages, got exposed on all these accounts. The inner workings of Twitter, there were some screenshots that leaked allegedly showing that Twitter has this admin panel that they can blacklist and manually manipulate the trending topics on Twitter. So like Hillary's health was trending. Nowadays they might blacklist that one, but they'll let Trump's health be an issue. Well, Motherboard Tech News on Vice, they claim that hackers convinced a Twitter employee to hijack the accounts for them. somehow they got in, they changed. I'm opening the treasure chest on D Live, guys. Somehow they changed people's email address for their accounts, and somehow they may have gotten rid of two-factor authentication, which is where you log into Twitter and you have to use some type of device or a verification text message or whatever to verify and log in the rest of the way. They somehow maybe even got rid of that, according to some people on Twitter, some experts, right? Who knows what the truth is with that, right? The president's son, Donald J. Trump Jr., I think he's still locked out of Twitter. I could be wrong, but he was locked out of Twitter even after the dust seemingly settled and blue checkmark verified people got their accounts back. Same thing with his spokesman, Surabis is his handle. I forget what his real name is. But Don Jr. locked out. This guy, Hasib Awan, tweeted that according to his info, the hacker met a Twitter employee on a Discord gaming channel, and I don't know if this is true, right? And befriended him, who sold his login for $2,000. And he didn't specify whether that's 2,000 Bitcoin, which is a lot of money, or dollars, which is a little bit of money nowadays. The hacker then replaced the emails through his tool and removed two-factor authentication, according to this guy. Who knows, though, if that's true. But last night, things appeared to return to normal. Don Jr. is still locked out of his account. And I don't think he shared any fake tweets. So that's odd. Twitter told them to reset their password, reportedly. When they attempted to reset their passwords, Twitter said that their accounts didn't exist. Even though you go to their profiles and you can see they tweeted yesterday before all this mess happened. But it's pretty crazy. We still don't even really know who broke into Twitter. But it's so ridiculous. I have some of the stuff that Twitter was preoccupied with. They banned Stefan Molyneux last week. They've been banning a lot of you guys, a lot of alt-right figures who are just standing up for the whites. They don't ban any of the alt-Jewish people, the alt-black people, they banned some of the alt-blacks who were just too radical, I guess. But this is what the engineers of Twitter were wanting to avoid. And then I got to end. Instead of whitelist, allow list. Instead of blacklist, deny list. Avoid non-inclusive language. Prefer inclusive versions. Master slave, leader follower, primary replica, primary standby. Grandfathered, legacy status. Gendered pronouns, e.g. guys. Instead use folks, people, you, all, y'all. Gendered pronoun, he, him, his, they, them, their. Man hours, for man hours, right? We use, man hours. Person hours, engineer hours. Sanity check, quick check, confidence check, coherence check. Dummy value, placeholder value, sample value. They're concerned with politically correct language, their engineers are, rather than protecting Twitter's platform as being secure. And if they found out that Twitter employees, at least certain ones, maybe all of them, who knows, can tweet from anyone's account that they choose anything that they want. What in the world? So it's crazy. And, these other platforms, Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, is no better. They threatened to lock some guy's account who shared conflicting CNN headlines about hydroxychloroquine and stuff because they're more concerned about their leftist version of fact-checking and stuff like that. Stupid. Anyways, guys, I'm way over time. I got to end the show. Appreciate you guys. Let me just double-check the super chats. You guys can support on my Patreon. You can go to my Teespring. You can support on Streamlabs or DLive. Thank you guys. I can't take YouTube super chats right now. Sorry, but maybe I'll get it back or maybe not. We'll see. I might make a nice effort to get back in the good graces of YouTube for now. We'll see. Anyways, thehakereport.com and JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse Lee Peterson's stuff. And I will share Joel's He Black Teespring store link on my blog page, on my blog post for today's show later this afternoon. All right, guys. Take care.